And I know a lot of us, you know, well, I think for the most part, we're all sitting down, but I know Chelsea and Maya, they have their videos off. If you guys ever need to turn off your video and like go potty or, I mean, just mute, obviously, or like go grab something out of the fridge. We're a small group, so we completely understand. So thank you guys for being here. We're just going to wait a few more minutes just to see if Cheryl pops on. Yolanda will not be joining us tonight. I believe so anyway. She's not feeling well. So send her some good vibes because I hate not feeling well. So we've got Allison, Patty. I'm like a school teacher. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yolanda would be 10. Cheryl would be 11. Why am I blanking on our 12th? I always blank on someone. Let me look at our list. Priscilla. We're waiting on Priscilla. So tell us something good, someone.
Wins from the week.
Wins from the week. Bridget went live last night. I know that.
I did.
How'd you do?
I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good. Yeah, I was a little nervous because I hadn't been live in a minute. So, but I mean, I was able to get everything together. I was actually a lot more prepared than I've ever been for any other live. So it was I think I was kind of like thrown off by that because I'm usually rushing and all kind of crazy. And this time I was actually prepared ahead of time and was like, what am I forgetting? Am I forgetting something? But no, it went pretty well. And then this morning I had some more sales coming in. Yay. It was pretty good. Mm-hmm.
You were so well paced, Bridget. Like you calm and had it all together. So if you had nerves, they weren't showing.
Oh, thank you so much. I honestly, I feel like in the past I've talked a whole lot, and this time I was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't feel like 100%, you know, because I was just a little bit too nervous inside.
It didn't show.
Yeah, it didn't show. And I loved your perks. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to hear what your perks were. Do you mind sharing them?
Of course. So I've tried it before, where I do the free shipping, but I do free shipping when it's $75 or more. Mm-hmm. And then this time what I did is I said, if for every single purchase you make, I'll throw your number into the pot, and then I'm going to have the kids pick a number, and then the winner will get $40 towards a next live with me.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because it's the next live. So you're not taking money out of your pocket now. That is very
No, it's the next one. And so because it's so close together, that's another thing why I think I've been so stressed out, because I didn't realize my next live is next Friday.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it speeds up. Like here we are, it's March 1st tomorrow. It's unbelievable.
Live tomorrow.
and Rebecca has another live tomorrow. She just had one last week.
Yeah, and then I got the reminder that I meet with Rebecca tomorrow morning, and I was like, oh, already? Like, what in the world?
Oh, good.
Like,
yeah.
So that's actually brand new. So that you received it in your inbox, or did it go to a filtered box?
My inbox
with your text messages. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay,
and
great.
Bridget, did you friend request me on Facebook already? Because I'm gonna do messenger video chat tomorrow. Or if you want to do just phone, either way, totally up to you. But yeah, anybody who's booked with me, that's the way I'm gonna do it versus Zoom. Cool.
So Rebecca, I'm actually making you co-host just so that you can share the screen if at any point you want to share your screen.
Yeah,
so we've got everyone here, guys. I see Priscilla, Chelsea, Allison, Maya, Natalie, Jackie, Bridget, Amy, Betty, Patty. We are still missing Cheryl. I hope she tunes in. Cheryl runs a brick and mortar as well, so she is just very, very, very busy. So Rebecca and I are hoping to have some more one-on-one with her. But unfortunately, I don't know if she'll be joining us tonight, which is sad because she gives so much as well to our coaching calls. But guys, thank you for being here tonight, Sunday, February 28th, our last day of February. congratulations on all of your wins. There's been such great activity in the Facebook group. I was able to catch up today. Patty has a new shipping station. Betty's been posting on Instagram. Amy, I saw you had some great goals about listing, I think 300 items per month. I loved seeing that. Natalie had a sold out 30-minute live, which was unbelievable and never before happened in the history of lives, I think. So we've all done something amazing this week, and you guys have been co-creating it together, and that's what this coaching program is all about. So thank you guys for being such great contributors and participants in that way. So like last week, I'm just going to kind of settle us, because I know we've all had probably busy days or busy weeks. So if you guys can find just a comfortable place in your chair, or just wherever you're at, maybe you're standing, maybe you're doing something right now, but just if you can just take a moment just to be present with yourself, and maybe just reflect back on something that you're really proud of yourself for creating this week. We often don't stop to honor ourselves and to just give ourselves that energetic pat on the back. We kind of keep moving forward. We don't take pauses. So taking a pause is just as important as being in action. And if there's anything that's just bothering us or stressing us or just not serving us in this moment, I give you full permission to just release it. Maybe you kind of shake your body a little bit, or maybe you move your hands around or you wiggle your feet. Just get that energy out of you, because you don't need to have it, and it doesn't need to stay with you. It's only temporary. And as we take a few deep breaths together, let's take one in through our noses and then out through our mouths. Maybe make a big sigh just to get more of that frantic energy out of us. I just heard a great sigh. I loved it. We'll take one more. I can always feel like I'm a new person when I actually breathe. It's unbelievable how much we don't breathe. And just sit where you are and just feel your bum on the chair and your hands where they are, your eyes closed or your eyes open, and just clear your mind. Create an openness for what you're about to learn tonight for our third group training program with the first ever roadmap to resale success. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot of information. And we are ready. So when you guys are ready, open your eyes. I feel better. I don't know about you guys. I feel like we always store energy in our bodies, and it's like 2 minutes just to recenter. So with all that said, guys, I'm going to let Rebecca start us off tonight.
Do you
So
want to
Rebecca,
share the screen?
I'll share the screen. Yeah.
Perfect.
And if I don't move fast enough, just say next slide. Okay, cool. And for those of you that might be tuning in or you're not watching via video, this is recording, and I will send it probably by like 10 o'clock tonight, so you guys can watch for the slides. So here we go. And we got that.
And I saw real quick, somebody just said, question from the homework when there is time. We'll do homework questions at the end, because we're going to go over the next week's homework, and we'll go over like questions from the previous homework too. Okay.
Perfect.
All right, go ahead. You guys, we are kicking off with the toolbox tonight. Go ahead and go over to the next slide, or 2 slides from now, I guess I should say.
Yeah, 2 slides.
We already did kind of that part. Let's go over. So you guys, we're going to throw a whole lot of information at you guys tonight. We're going to go over the tools that you can use in resale. And this is kind of bigger picture. You're not going to use all these tools. What we're going to suggest is that you pick 2 or 3 of them and do them really well. So we're going to go over all the platforms you can sell on, like every single platform. Okay, maybe not everyone. I'm sure we missed off some small ones, but we're going to go over the major ones. And we're going to go over the major marketing tools. And what this is it's not you need to do all these things. This is an option for you. And there are different levels to it as well, where like you're starting out, and then there's like an intermediate, and there's a little bit more advanced, and then there's super advanced. There are tools that I put in here that I've either used or haven't, like I know they're there, but I haven't used them because they're even still a little above my head. But I think it's always important to know the next level, because if you don't know the next level, you don't know how to get there, right? You're not like, oh gosh, like if you think this is it and there's all this stuff above you, you don't know where you can grow to. So we're going to give you guys a whole bunch of tools. Please don't get overwhelmed. Just this is for your education so that you know it's out there, and you can go, okay, this one thing isn't working for me. Let's transition. Let's go back to the toolbox and pull a different tool up. So like if your kitchen sink breaks, you know, you need a wrench, right? And the tools for that, you're probably not going to need a hammer on it. So the toolbox, use it for whatever tool you're going to do. I don't know if you're like me and things break like my printer, I kind of want to use a hammer on it right now. I'm not probably the good one with the tool analogy, but I hired that stuff out. So just know you're not going to use all of them. But again, comprehensive list for you guys. So with that, we're going to talk about how to determine what's right for you. And each one of these tools is going to have the pros and cons with it, because not everything's perfect for everybody. So when you're looking at which platforms to sell on or which marketing tools to use, first and foremost is if you can't use it, it's not a good tool for you. So if the technology is like, you're just not quite grasping it, that's okay. Find a different tool. It's okay. So if it's really difficult, there are things you can learn. You can do the YouTube videos, you can learn, you know, how to use it. You can talk to other people, you can take trainings on each one of these. But if for some reason, once you do that, it's still like not clicking for you, just find a different tool. And then you want to make sure you know where your customers are, because if you're selling to teenagers and you're selling on eBay, your teenagers probably aren't on eBay. So you want to make sure that they match up, because if your customers aren't there, it doesn't matter if you're using the tool correctly. If your customer base isn't there, you're not going to make sales. At the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're making sales. That's the ultimate goal of this. And then don't let fees be the driving decision. So we've broken down each one of these, and we put the fee structure into each of the tools. But just because something's cheaper doesn't mean it's better. And the same thing, just because something's more expensive doesn't mean it's better, right? So don't let the fees be there. And then don't spread yourself too thin. If you're on every single platform, there's no way you can be doing them by yourself well, unless you have a team and each person's dedicated to something different. So don't spread yourself too thin across them. So if you guys don't mind dropping in the chat right now, which platforms you're selling on? Are you on Etsy, you on eBay, you on your own website, are you on Instagram? Drop it in the chat just so I can kind of see where everybody's at. And as we go over this, we are not teaching you how to use these tools. We're letting you know the bigger picture. This is what it is. This is who's there. This is how much it's going to cost you. These are the skill sets that you need for them. But if you need like that one-on-one thing, again, Google and YouTube has tutorials on everything. It's amazing what you can learn on there. So I see here Thrift Boss Babes Live, Facebook. I know quite a few are on Instagram, Poshmark, Etsy, eBay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Just Instagram and Thrift Boss Babes Live. Awesome. Okay, cool. Go ahead and hit to the next slide. eBay, Etsy, Instagram, Thrift Boss Babes. Awesome. So Sandy, I'm going to let you take over the Facebook Marketplace.
Amazing, amazing. And yeah, and I know some of us are just getting started on new platforms. Like I know Allison, we were having a chat that you're hoping to launch an Etsy. So you sell on more than just Facebook for now. But I think that what's so important to remember is that it's okay to not do what everyone else is doing. Back to just there being a lot of opportunity with platforms and social media. It's really about what you gravitate toward naturally. And sometimes you do have to test, like you might want to test Depop because why not? But then you realize, you know what, I'm not logging into this as much as I should be as a reseller. There's just something about this that doesn't work for me or my business, and that's okay. So the Facebook Marketplace, I think most of us really have already become familiar with it, whether as a buyer, maybe as a casual seller. But a lot of people work this full time. They do it in a way where it's much more of a Craigslist sort of based experience experience. A lot of us here in the US remember Craigslist. It still exists, but it's not as popular as it once was, just to sell things from around the house. So compared to something like eBay, Facebook is kind of similar but different, just because with the Facebook Marketplace, you can actually connect to people in your area. So let's say you live in Atlanta, you want to sell some furniture, you can list it on Facebook Marketplace, and someone who's 30 miles away could see that ad and come pick it up from you at your house. It's much easier to create that sort of buyer-user connection than it is on a platform such as eBay. Now, Facebook, we're going to talk more about Facebook and Instagram as selling avenues for you guys. This is brand new information. So Rebecca and I, we're not super studious on it. We want to be because it's brand new. But there's something where you can actually use Facebook as a marketplace checkout. And what that means is that when you sell something on the marketplace, the buyer can check out with a Facebook organized checkout platform or through Facebook Messenger. So we all kind of know, like on Facebook, we like basically invoice people on PayPal. What Facebook has created for you, if you opt into it, is a way to have a safe and secure checkout experience with your customer on the Facebook platform, but they take 5%, which actually isn't that much. So this is something that I feel intuitively is going to grow with time. So you guys just might want to keep it in the back of your mind, because we're going to talk a little bit more later on in this presentation how Facebook is giving you opportunities to sell on their platform beyond a Facebook group and beyond a Facebook Live. So Facebook groups, we all know each other because we all met through a Facebook group. So we're all very familiar with this idea. Facebook groups as selling, platforms is a fairly new thing. Having been a Facebook user, a pretty heavy Facebook user for many years, I would say that it really only started in 2020. Now, of course, there were other ways to buy and sell in Facebook groups in 2019, but the thrift community really started to blossom in 2020. So beyond the groups that you guys are a part of right now, which you guys know which groups you are most attracted to or most active in, there's other groups where you can buy and sell clothing. You can go into the group search bar on Facebook and you can type in vintage or secondhand or Poshmark or Depop, and you might find another group that just works into your daily schedule of buying or selling. Now, just really quickly, Facebook groups, there's sometimes fees. So my group, as an example, I do charge $20 a month, but I've seen groups where they don't charge anything. Of course, there's going to be some different expectations when the group isn't charging, or not even expectations, but you might run into some more problems because things aren't as organized. But again, it's really just about finding the right group for you and just becoming familiar with it so that you know if that's a place worth investing your time. And what's just really great about Facebook groups is that they can be very niche. So you can find a Facebook group that's all about cottagecore fashion, and you can sell your cottagecore pieces at a higher price there because you're reaching a target audience. Facebook stories. Some of us, let me know in the comments, I'm just curious, has anyone here listed things for sale on their Facebook stories? Or seen someone who has listed things for sale on their Facebook stories? I'm going to tell you guys my relationship with Facebook stories. I hosted a live 2 weeks ago, and I didn't do as well as I wanted. I just didn't. And I said to myself, well, let me record my What Remains video and let me upload it to Facebook stories, because people look at my stories. I don't get that many views, but I'll get maybe up to 200. And so I posted the videos. I just chopped up the video. I created one long video. I chopped it up per item. It wasn't super professional, but it was nice. I had my ring light, things looked good. I posted it to my stories. I made $300 that day because people such as Lorna here replied sold to my Facebook stories. It was unbelievable. I just thought, wow, okay, this is something that's untapped. And think about Facebook this way. The Facebook groups, you might know, like, and trust a lot of people because you get to know them, but a lot of people still don't know you there. Facebook stories is your friends and family following you on your personal page who know, like, and trust you. So maybe those are your customers that you've already formed a relationship with. They've just chosen to friend you on Facebook. So this is another avenue of reaching people who know, like, and trust you in a way where they might not have seen you on a Facebook group, or they might not have seen you on a Facebook Live. So I encourage you guys, if you haven't tried this, just try it and just see what happens. Now, Facebook Live sales, we all know about Facebook Live sales. I don't think there's anyone here that doesn't know about Facebook Live sales. So I'm just going to go over this really brief. You know, most of us are hosting live sales on other communities. Some of us have formed our own communities where we can host live sales to the people that have chosen to join our tribe. So there's a couple of ways that you can do it. I like how Rebecca positions it. She talks about, I want to be a guest star on other people's platforms. And this is because she's busy. She can't create a bloomers, and I'm not going to say she's never going to do this, but you know, she doesn't want to necessarily right now create a bloomers and frock Facebook group. But you guys, you know, you might enjoy being a guest star, but then you go to then you think to yourself, maybe I can create my own Facebook group and then start marketing my live sales to that group, to a customer base that, again, have chosen to know, like, and trust me and participate in this manner of my live sales being more personalized to them versus someone else's group. So this is another brand new initiative from Facebook. I say brand new, I want to say it's 3 months old. So again, there's probably going to be a lot of changes that come up in the next 6 to 8 months. But if you guys have a business page, so if you have a business page, say just for your brand, that's it's the page that people choose to like. You can actually start to upload what's called a catalog of items for sale. So you can do this manually with the items that, you know, you just take photos of, or you could connect it to a platform where you might already have items for sale, such as Shopify. And again, back to how I was explaining Facebook Marketplace and how they're now integrating and the opportunity for buyers to check out on Facebook. Your customers who find you on your business page and want to purchase something from your catalog, they can check out on Facebook. And again, Facebook will take a cut, approximately 5%. So I did some research. I couldn't find stats around this, like such and such brand is selling on their Facebook business page, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know the success rate, but it is a really interesting thing to start to tap into. And the reason that I'm suggesting it to our group as well is because a lot of us do have Facebook followings. We have a Facebook group, or we're part of a Facebook group, and selling on Facebook is a comfortable place for us. And so this is another opportunity for you to build your brand and to list items for sale on your business page. And this link right here, I'm not gonna open it for you. It's very long. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of tech stuff behind it, but this will explain to you further how you can take advantage of that opportunity to sell on your Facebook business page. Okay, I hosted a workshop about this back in April. I'm pretty sure Betty took it. I want to say Natalie may have taken it as well, about IG, so Instagram shop and story sales. This has become a phenomenon from what I've seen. I know as a quick example, Maya, I'm going to shout you out. You've started to sell every Friday on your Instagram stories. People are just very comfortable buying from Instagram stories. Back to what I was talking about with Facebook stories, it's almost just like a more casual shopping experience. People don't have to show up for a live, but they still know that there's a sense of urgency. They know, like, oh shoot, this person has 4,000 Instagram followers. I need to, pick this up right now. Versus maybe being on another platform, they don't think it's as urgent for whatever psychological reason. Now, the issues about Instagram, more so than Facebook, honestly, is that as you build an Instagram following, you actually become more vulnerable. We've seen some vintage sellers on Instagram that have like 100,000 followers. Their Instagrams just disappear. I don't know why their Instagrams disappear. It almost feels like a conspiracy theory, but you run the risk of, if you're building the social audience on Instagram, you could lose it. So you always want to be getting people's emails, because then at least you have access to some form of contact with them. So with your Instagram, you can sell on your feed, or you can sell in your stories. I have given 3 handles right here just to take a look at their feeds as well as their stories for some inspiration as to how they quote unquote drop their new collections and have flash sales of their secondhand items. Thrift Shark is, her name is Lynn, and she must post 10 items a day for sale. And then she'll do an Instagram story maybe every other day. Feathers Boutique Vintage, this is someone in Austin that Rebecca knows. She is very selective about who gets the drop first. So she'll actually let her email list know that a collection of secondhand goods is available for purchase on her website first. So the email list will know first. And then her Instagram stories will update with photos of what's available on the website, maybe like a couple hours later. And then maybe she'll promote it on her feed. So she hits her followers from all angles, but she gives her email list first dibs. Junie Moon Vintage is also doing an amazing job. She just uses a mannequin and she does story drops. And I want to say she lists maybe 3 to 4 items per day on her feed. These sellers are really great to look at, as well as other sellers, because a lot of times they're transparent about what's sold. And if you're active with their feeds, you can see, oh, wow, she sold that for $250. Like, that's unbelievable. Okay, that gives me some inspiration. Or you could see what they're not selling as quickly and what is selling quickly. Now, of course, we all can sell different things. You don't want to compare yourself to others or try to follow their exact model in the sense of what they're selling, but it can still help.
I want to add something real quick here, Sammy, that
Yeah,
I didn't talk
please.
to you about. On my Instagram stories, when I generally post both on my feed and on my Instagram stories. On my feed, you want to limit what you're posting to like 1 to 2 things on your feed a day to show up in the algorithm. If you post more than that, you actually get sunk in the algorithm, but you can post as many stories as you want. But when I post something in my stories that's not like it's just a window display or something, I sell more that way. Like the behind the scenes things, people are like, ooh, what's that? They get more engaged with it than if it's like actually presented properly, which is really interesting to me. But the other thing I do in my stories is when something sells, I put sold on it like immediately. And what that does is it creates that rush and that demand, because people go, oh my gosh, that sold so fast. And sometimes I'll sell something in my store and like I just listed it, I'll put sold like immediately, because it did sell, but it just increases the demand for your items. So don't be afraid to post things that, with the word sold on it.
Yeah, because again, it's there's that rap song Clout. I always think of that. I'm like, how can you as a seller create more clout around your brand, which is why branding is important. But you can create clout simply by letting your audience know, like, I'm selling things. So y'all better like come over here and buy, because if you're second guessing, you're not going to get it. So yes, I love that, Rebecca. Oh, and back to Thrift Shark, she does list multiple times per day. But what I do notice what she does is because you could do a carousel, she'll put 6 to 10 items for sale in one post. So she also does that. Okay, so Rebecca's going to take over for Instagram Live because she does this often for Bloomers and Frocks.
So yeah, I actually hosted a Galentine's party on Instagram Live. It's something that I normally do in the store, and I basically did what you guys all do on Facebook Live sales, right? But I did it on Instagram Live, and I tried moving my audience from Instagram over to Facebook. Guys, my audience is like, no, we're Instagram people. Like, I failed so miserably trying to move over to like a Bloomers and Frocks Facebook. So I was like, okay, I gotta sell where they're at. So I hopped on, did the ring light, set up the rack, did the number thing just like I do with a Facebook Live. The downside is there's no plug-in information to it. So if your audience is still on Instagram Live, you can still do this. I highly, highly, highly recommend you have somebody helping you if you do this. And the reason for that is 2 things. One is I had to have people DM me their interest, which kind of sucks because they have to leave your live to DM you and then come back into your live. So there's definitely a con to that. But if you have them comment in the channel and you lose your connection, you lose everybody's comments. And I learned that the hard way, and it was horrible. So you either need somebody, if you're commenting in the Instagram live of whoever claims it first, somebody recording that for you, or you need somebody on the back end DMing them back and saying, you got this, you were first. So it really helps when you have two people to do that. That said, like my lingerie party, you guys, I sold like, what did I sell? Like $3 grand that night. It was insane. And everybody like had fun with it. And that was the first time. I've done it on like mannequins before, but I actually had a live model that modeled like every third or fourth item, and she'd come out and we had fun with it. And it was, so there are ways that you can do it just like you do with a Facebook Live. It's just a lot more admin work.
I love that with the live model. That's really smart.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Instagram Live, building your brand. Yeah, you can. I've seen a lot of people do this. I think Patty does it. I see Patty pop up live all the time. Yeah, you do a split screen. Yeah, I was gonna say I see that. I haven't really watched most of them because I'm so busy, but I see it get the notifications when you go live, and I peek in and peek out. The other thing is I sell a lot of things after the fact. So I'll do like a list of what's available still. So I repost to my IGTV. I post it in my feed, and I only leave it in my feed for like 2 to 3 days, but it lets people who didn't go there go back and watch the video and then go, oh, these numbers are still available. And I write the description out, and it takes a little bit of time, but it totally makes money afterwards. So, all right.
Okay, so Instagram, we're still on the topic of Instagram. So this is back. So for those of you, I think we all know, but I'm just going to put it out there. Facebook owns Instagram. So pretty much whatever is released to Facebook or Instagram eventually comes to the other platform. So you can also have what's called an Instagram verified shop that allows your customer to check out for a purchase from your Instagram shop on Instagram itself. We're not teaching you how to do that. It's something that is fairly new. It's not as new as the Facebook checkout functionality, but this link right here, once you guys get these slides, you can click this link and it will tell you everything, step 1 through 7, how to set up an Instagram shop. Rebecca chose not to, and I might have her expound upon this. She chose not to become an Instagram verified shop because the negative, I mean, first of all, Instagram takes a cut of 5%, but she already has like a website. So she can just send people to the website. She doesn't need to list on Instagram items for sale. But also when someone checks out on Instagram, you don't get their email information. So you can't remarket to them as a returning customer. You've kind of lost them in a sense. So until this really becomes something that I think is translatable for a high return on investment, a high ROI, it might not be anything that you guys really need to worry about. But what is nice about it, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this, is that essentially what happens is you upload a photo and then that photo becomes clickable and linkable to items that they can then purchase, which is really kind of cool. It's a cool thing.
Let me jump in there real quick, because you can still have clickable products without checking out on Instafied shops. So if you guys go to my Instagram profile later, it's back in December. You have to scroll back just a little bit. There is a little square that says, let's talk IG and shipping, and my light's not going to show it. There we go. And it's got 10 slides on there on the pros and cons. I chose not to do it because of the fact that they take the customer data and it's a higher percentage. When they can just click one more link and buy it straight from my website. So if you have your own website that you're selling on, send people there instead. If you don't have a website, this is a great tool. So there are pros and cons, depends on how you're already set up. But if you do have a website, please go to my Instagram, read this. It circulated 10,000 times. It was crazy how much this blew up. I was just kind of putting it out there for my friends that are sellers, and I didn't expect it to go viral, and it did. So you'll be able to find that.
Okay, so I did not realize that. So it's basically choosing to use the checkout, but you can still create clickable items.
Still tag your products.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. And you have a business account, correct? You have to have a business account.
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, you guys would have to change, if you're not already a business account, you can either be a personal account, a creator account, or a business account. but you'd have to be a business account. So, okay. All right, so Rebecca's going to talk about Etsy.
I think everybody here is pretty aware of Etsy. So there are pros and cons to Etsy as well. You can only sell vintage and handmade on there. So if you're selling, 2000s to now, you can't actually sell them on Etsy. You see it all the time, so you can probably sneak them in there. They have a minimum of a 5% transaction fee. It can go up to 15%. And there is a off-site ads. And if your customer comes from one of those off-site ads, which means Etsy actually marketed your product through Google Ads or through whatever avenue outside of Etsy, and if they come back and purchase that from you within 30 days, they will charge you 15% for that product. So it can be a really high transaction. Plus you have your 20-cent listing fee as well. I don't think I dropped that in there, but each item has a listing fee as well. You do need to make sure you have really good product photos on here that pop out. And they are kind of funky ratio because they're not square, they're 4:3, so they're longer. So for clothing, it's a little bit harder because most of them are shooting on mannequins or models. So the ratio size for Etsy is slightly different from other things that you would go to. I think a lot of people here are selling on Etsy. It's great for as I said, for vintage and kind of higher end pieces. So. All right, and then eBay, a lot of us are selling on eBay. There is a listing fee on there. On average, it's about 10% that they take in the fees. It depends on what you're selling and the volume you're selling at. The great thing about eBay is you don't actually have to take like amazing photos. You can do a floor flat lay. You can, if it's home goods.
I do it all the time. I just throw stuff on the floor.
And it'll still sell. It's crazy that it'll still sell. I get a lot of international buyers on eBay. Same with Etsy. I guess I didn't touch on this. There's a global shipping program. I've heard major complaints about Etsy's global shipping program. I'm not on Etsy anymore, so I can't tell you about it, but I've used the global shipping program through eBay and it's fantastic. I really love it. You basically send your packages to one center in Kentucky. They ship them out internationally for you, so you don't really have to take care of the customs forms. So you do get a larger international reach with eBay. Make sure that, there's more scammers on eBay than kind of some of the other places. So. Oh, and the other great thing is if you have a Shopify store, you can link your Shopify to eBay, and I'll show you guys my backend of Shopify in a little bit. So like for me, it's like one click of an extra button, and then I just have to add in like the eBay attributes. So if I want to cross post from Shopify to eBay, it's just a plugin.
What exactly is a Shopify store? Or
we'll get to that in just a minute.
Perfect. Okay.
It is your own website, but I will get to that in just a moment.
Okay.
It's the best platform. At least that's what we're selling as the best platform. We agree it's the best platform. So Poshmark and Depop we're combining just because I think most of us really know what these platforms are, but we might not be on them. I know a couple of us here in this group training are pretty active on Poshmark. Poshmark has some of the higher selling fees at 20%, and under $20 items, it's $2.95, which is 15% plus. So if you're listing an item for $5 on Poshmark is still going to take almost $3 from that item. The audience is definitely younger. I wouldn't say it's as young as Depop, but it's, average 20, 30 something. Your photography, I mean, back to every platform, guys, the better your photography, just the better overall chance you're going to be able to market that item at its best value, its highest value. But Poshmark is one of those platforms where you don't need like a beautiful mannequin to take a photo. Like you can just hang it on the wall and take a photo, or have a nice backdrop and take a photo, or put it on the floor and take a photo. What really sells on Poshmark though are the trendy and name labels. I know a lot of people actually hunt for vintage on Poshmark because vintage is not priced as high on Poshmark as it is on other platforms. So pro tip to look for valuable vintage names on Poshmark because people don't really know what they're selling. What's frustrating about Poshmark? It's in Canada and US only right now. But what's frustrating about Poshmark is to get started, you really have to share your closet. I don't think you have to do that for your whole Poshmark career once you reach a certain level, but it's very time consuming to build a following on Poshmark. In addition to listing, you have to almost be using it like a social media platform And who has time for another social media platform? Let's be real. Now, Depop, I know Maya's on Depop right now. If anyone else is on Depop, let us know in the comments, or I'm sorry, in the chat. Depop is much younger, and it's trendy and vintage clothing for sure. And it's where you can really start to build a brand just because of how the interface is set up. It almost looks like your own Instagram account. Teen users account for about 55%, and 20-somethings are about 38%. I have heard from people who use Depop, and maybe Maya can expound upon this at some point. There's a lot of messaging on Depop. So Poshmark, you can't message the seller or the buyer. But on Depop, people will like message you and ask you a gazillion questions. And I'm not trying to be like that girl, but when people are a little bit younger, like a teenager, they just sort of communicate a lot and expect you to communicate back as quickly, which you just might not be, you know, of that, how do I say this, like of that behavior. So you might just not be comfortable selling on Depop because you're not a 20-something is what I'm trying to say. It is a very successful platform, however, and their commission is, it's a base 10% commission, but they only use PayPal. So then you have to pay a PayPal fee of 3% and then 30 cents. And if I'm wrong about that, Maya, let me know, because I didn't fact check that. But what I researched is that Depop only deposits your money through PayPal, and Poshmark does a bank account. All right, so next slide. I think I'm talking about this. Yes, so TikTok is something I have spoken about. I am not an expert on TikTok. I am not personally focused on TikTok. I see the value, however. And I see the value no matter your age, honestly. I think a lot of times, well, with this app in particular, it was kind of like, oh, it's just for like, you know, 17-year-olds. It's not anymore. You can really build a presence on TikTok as a thrifter and as a secondhand seller. I would say it's still an untapped space, but you ultimately have to use this platform to drive people to your Instagram, your YouTube, or a website where you might sell things, to a website where you sell things. So I took a screenshot of my profile just because some of us might not have TikTok, so you can see where I don't have a website, but I could add a website. And then it has my Instagram handle, and I don't have my YouTube at the moment. So you could, you know, create a following there, and then you create a video, and the video says something like, hosting a live sale on Instagram, 8 p.m. tonight, come on through. And from what I've heard and what I've seen, people will move between platforms. So back to what Rebecca was saying, Instagram to Facebook's a little bit more difficult, but TikTok to Instagram, not so difficult. So it's something to consider if you are looking to also build an Instagram presence. You can create a following on TikTok and move that following also to Instagram. YouTube as well, there's still a lot of room to grow. I've been active on YouTube on and off for a decade, and I'm starting to get active again, and with a lot more intention than I have in the past. And that's because I've just noticed, I mean, the last 5 years, maybe even more, but there's a huge thrifting culture on YouTube. So that means that there's a lot of potential customers for you on YouTube. And compared to TikTok, I'd say YouTube is definitely a little bit older in terms of eyeballs. I mean, there's still a younger generation on YouTube. But again, you basically have to drive people somewhere where you can sell. I didn't mention this with TikTok, but you can go live on TikTok and you can go live on YouTube. I've never done it personally. Rebecca and I, we were talking about it while we were planning these slides for you guys. We were like, I guess you could do this. Like you could build a following on TikTok or YouTube and then go live and sell things, because people can DM you on TikTok, and I don't know if people can DM you on YouTube though. That's what I'm not sure, but they could probably comment. And then if you could just record it so that you don't lose it. So there's very creative ways to use YouTube and TikTok to sell to a following, but that's a bare minimum. If you start to create a following on either of these platforms, you just have to think to yourself, okay, if I'm going to be a reseller and if I'm going to tap into this audience as a customer base, how am I going to move them? And where am I going to move them? And what makes most sense, right? So YouTube might still make more sense to move them to Instagram, but also YouTube's really easy to throw links in the description. So Patty, as an example, she could start to do weekly hauls on YouTube. And she could say, all of these items are for sale. You know, here's my link to my Etsy. Here's my link here, blah, 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 blah. And then the people that watch that video, even if those items aren't for sale anymore, they're still going to be curious and they're going to click through to your Etsy and probably buy from you, like buy something from you. And it's free. Like, it's free advertising. So this is Taylor Made Style. She's one of my favorite people on YouTube. And she focuses on SEO titles like Come Thrift With Me. So there's a whole world of growing on YouTube. If you guys choose to jump into it, just know that it's a lot of fun. I can't tell if this is me or Rebecca. Rebecca, I guess this is me. I'm just going to go for it.
Go for it. I'll add into it.
I'm going to go for it. So
actually,
wholesale avenue.
Before you jump into this, you guys, we broke this into like platforms that you can sell on and then marketing tools. But the last two that she went over, TikTok and YouTube, can be both. So you can market through your YouTube and drive them to another platform, as she was saying. So look at it as a tool of both marketing and a platform to sell on.
Right, right. And the reason I'm bringing up some of your names is because I see some of you using some of these avenues. I'm not trying to add more to your plate, but it can be a lot more simple than what our minds think, right? So we might think to ourselves like, oh, YouTube is so complicated. It could just be, again, you just sit once a week and you share what you bought. And then you encourage people to go check out where you're selling, or you're giving tips and tricks, because YouTube is a great search engine and the content lives forever. So people will keep finding you. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. We're just trying to give you guys a little taste. So wholesale avenues, for some of us, we have a lot of stock and we don't necessarily have time to sell it all at top prices. I know Natalie has gotten into this. I think a few others have as well. But you can wholesale your items for sale. You can wholesale them to other sellers, to consignment shops, to places like Buffalo Exchange. These are American stores, but Buffalo Exchange, Crossroads Trading, Plato's Closet, any local buy-sell trade. You can sell lots of clothes on eBay. So a lot is 10 1970s dresses for $50. You can sell on ThreadUp. The way that you find these outlets, you know, in the sense of, oh no, I'm sorry. How do you find these outlets? I think this is more for buying wholesale, Rebecca. But if you guys are in
for selling, where you want to list even. So like talking to people, like to me, like I wholesale to other dealers in the area. And it's just your personal relationships, word of mouth sort of things. Or sometimes I'll be like vintage clothing lot on Facebook Marketplace. And, you know, I have 100 items, you buy it all for, I've actually had some people that like recently did a trash bag, you know, like a contractor bag. A bag is $100 and it's like a surprise bag, but and she'll show like a handful of pieces of what's in it, but like it's a surprise bag, right, for a reseller. Mm-hmm. But she markets those on both Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if any of us have this much. I mean, obviously this photo shows like a true wholesaler. But think of it like, oh my gosh, I'm swimming in inventory and I can't sell it. How do I just become a wholesaler of this inventory so I can at least move it out of my home so that, as Rebecca has taught us, it's not costing me money simply to have it?
I want to add here. Oh.
Yes, please add, please.
Do not devalue your brand when you wholesale. So whatever you're doing as wholesale on the back end, don't market that to your general audience. For example, I have a rack of amazing vintage clothes that I'm going to sell tomorrow night on the Thrift Boss Babes Live. I would not even offer these prices to many of my retail customers. I'm offering them to be you guys as like, you know, as a reseller, but I won't market it to my general audience because I don't want them to know that, oh, by the way, I can discount this much, because then they'll expect that on everything. So don't dump in your own market.
Love that.
Yeah,
all right, good. Rebecca is going to talk about Shopify.
All right. Before I get into that, were there any questions on anything we've gone over real quick?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go into Shopify. So this is basically your own website. And I started in Square, I think years ago on my own website. And then I moved up to Squarespace. Squarespace is really difficult when you have one off of everything. Squarespace is a good sales venue if you have, 15 of one item sort of thing. And I know some people, I have a jewelry salesperson down here who uses Wix and she loves it. Wix is like kind of like the basic level of a website. So I think I would say in order it'd be like Wix, Square, Squarespace, Shopify in terms of having to know the tech knowledge. And this is an advanced tool. If you are not good with technology, do not do your own website. You will rip your hair out. There's no point reinventing the wheel if you aren't going to grasp it. Sell on eBay, sell on Etsy, sell on any other platform where it's already built out on you. Because if something breaks on this, you have to fix it. So I'm lucky that I'm married to a software developer who, I'm like, oh my gosh, this broke. I can't figure it out. And he's like, oh, I just recoded it, right? Like, so I'm a little bit higher because I have that advantage.
So lucky, Rebecca.
Very.
He's actually walking down here right now to fix my printer because I was going to take a hammer to it earlier.
Oh my God.
So you guys all might meet my husband here in a minute. So your own website, it's going to start out about $25 a month in fees just for the website. You're still also going to have web hosting on that, which can be anywhere from $2 to $10 a month or so. And it also depends on how many plugins you have on things. So to give you an idea, I think I pay $80 a month for my website, and I have things on my website that are plugins that I pay like, $5.99 a month. And that plugin, because I don't use Shopify for my POS. This is really advanced. But because I have a different system in my shop, I want to capture that customer data and put it all into my Shopify because I want it in one place. So I have a plugin called Zapier. So I pay like $6 a month so that information zaps over to my website so I can keep it all in one place. I have a couple other plugins for marketing and things like that. They all add up. They're like $3 a month, $5 a month. So my bill, I think, is around $80 a month for my own Shopify. In addition to that, you also have credit card processing. On your own website, I would probably tell you it's one of the highest quality photos you need to have because you don't have the support of somebody else. So you're driving customers to your own website. If they get there and they're like, what is this? They're going to leave immediately. Your bounce rate is going to be so high, you're not going to get to selling things. You have to make sure your photography game's on point. You can literally sell anything you want on a website. The great thing for me is like I sell 97% vintage, but sometimes I have reproduction things or that I can't sell on Etsy or other avenues. I can put those on my own website. I can market it however I want to. I'm in control of it. I'm in control of how it looks, how the layout is. A lot of the back end is drag and drop when you're building the website. So that's really easy. And I think that Shopify is a little bit easier in the drag and drop than, Squarespace and Square are right now. The other pros is that you could own your customer data. And I decided 2 years ago now, oh my gosh, it's been 2 years since I've been on my own website, that I wanted control over that. I wanted to be able to do email marketing. I wanted to be able to remarket to my customers. I wanted to be able to integrate my shop with my website. So those were the reasons why I chose to go to my own system versus some of the other platforms. Go ahead and hit the next slide.
And do you mind explaining to them what a plugin is?
Yep, I'm going to show them what a plugin is here in a minute.
Perfect. Okay.
So Shopify's basic plan starts out at $29 a month. I think I'm actually on that plan with my plugins. It's a little bit more. The great thing is about this is that once it's built, I operate almost 90% of it, except for shipping labels on I have a work phone and I just do everything right on there from product listings. So if I take a photo on this phone of my models, I can upload it right to my Shopify. I don't have to throw it into Lightroom or Photoshop and edit it or anything like that. I can do it all right, everything right from this phone, which is really awesome. It also ties in with my bookkeeping services. It ties in with my email marketing services. It plugs into Facebook ads, Google ads, Pinterest ads. It literally, I'm going to show you guys this. It plugs into freaking everything. And I can cross list onto eBay, which is awesome. You do need to know some SEO basic stuff. You do need to be somewhat tech savvy on it. And you need to know some marketing things. So those are the cons. If you don't know those things, you will fail at this because there are so many websites out there. If you don't get your website in front of people, you aren't going to, and you don't have your own audience, you're not going to sell anything because just because you build it, they won't come. So just know that it is some tech savvy stuff. The great thing about Shopify too is you can actually have somebody build your Shopify site for you. And I probably should have linked this in here, but I can do it later. There are Shopify experts that you can hire that will build your website for you. And you can, I think they charge anywhere from about $300 for like kind of somebody that's intro level, if you just need a basic website, up to probably about $1,500 or so to build a website. But they'll build it for you. And then once you get there, it's really easy in terms of product listing. So I'm going to share my screen here, and Sammy, I'm going to have you stop sharing yours. I'm going to show you the back. You guys are going to see like what the back end of Shopify looks like. And this isn't like all the things. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just going to give you like a brief overview of what it looks like. So,
and that's really good to know. I know that it can be a huge investment, but to know that you can just hire someone from Shopify to build a site for you is a game changer. I actually just learned that from Rebecca a few months ago.
All right, so here is the front. Let me move you over here. Everybody's pretty faces. Here is the front end of what it looks like. And the great thing is I have everything arranged. So I have my new arrivals. You can shop by size. You can shop by category, which is like skirts, dresses, jewelry. So you can arrange your products however you want on the back end. So this is kind of what the front end looks like. It's bloomersandfrocks.com. I've got an About Us page. I've got my Instagram reel thrown in here. You can find my shop on here. You can find out how to wash your clothes on here. So I've got all of that sort of things. Here's the back end. So here's my home screen. I had a return today. Sorry, Yolanda. I had a package that got lost, so I'm negative today, my sales. But when you first go here, I love that I can see how many people visited my website today. There were 48 people so far. I haven't done anything to drive sales today. So considering 48 people showed up and I haven't marketed anything, I feel pretty good about that. It shows you what your sales are for the month. It shows you your breakdowns in terms of orders, sales. You can tell where things came from. So like I had one order on eBay because I had something linked here, what came through my online store, what I've invoiced people for. You can see your top products. And you can see, oh, this is a really great thing. What products were added to your cart? I actually have an abandoned cart email. Some people add something to their cart and they don't check out. They get an email. They actually get they get a series of emails. So they get 2 emails and asking them if they want to check out with it. I think the second one, I think I have a small discount or free shipping on it. So they're like, oh, it's enticing them more. You guys get those through Amazon. You're like, why did you leave this in your cart? Do you still want this? Are you still interested? So that's something I can automate. And I actually forgot I had that on here until just now. I can see what was getting the most views. The great thing I love about this, all your orders are in one spot. You can ship right from here. So there's Shopify shipping. I just go through and create the labels. I can tell abandoned checkouts, who I don't think I have any right now. Oh no, look, I do. Oh, so I can tell like that email hasn't been set yet. I don't know why. Maybe they're not in there. It'll tell you if something was recovered or not after they sent those emails. Look at, here's one that she added something to her cart. She got the email and then she ended up buying it because she got that email, which is kind of cool. So it's a little bit more advanced. Products
so Rebecca,
on here.
If it says recovered, they ended up buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can see how many products I have on here. You can add new products. I do this from my phone because I think it's easier from my phone. So the website's going to be a little bit different. You just put in your title, your description, you change it from draft to active. So the great thing about this is you can actually schedule when things go live because you can schedule drafts. I'm not on Instagram, but mine pulls over to Google Shopping. I'm not actually on Facebook Shop. That's why it says not supported. But I'm on eBay and I'm on Facebook, so I can get Facebook tags on it. You can organize it by any sort of grouping you want. You can put your profit margins in here, so you can put your cost on the item so you can track it. You can skew things if you want to. You don't have to. You automatically calculate out your shipping. So by weight, you can put your weight in here and then automatically calculate. So when that person is maybe in Canada and you're in the US, it automatically calculates shipping for you. You don't have to spend time calculating out shipping for them. So this is just like kind of a basic product listing. And this is, I mean, similar to what you would do a product listing on eBay or Etsy on or something like that. It keeps you a customer list. Leave page. So you can track your customers over time, if they're subscribed or not, how much money they've spent. Let me get off there. I don't want, I don't want you guys to see those things. Okay, so but marketing. Now that I see you guys know the first customer. This is fantastic. So we're going to go over some of these ads later on, these ad platforms online. But if I want to, hey, Ben, my husband's here to rescue my printer.
Hey, Eric.
He'll come say hi in a minute. So if I want to connect my Google Ads account on here, if I want to connect a Pinterest ad account on here, I can do Facebook ads from here, so I don't have to learn the Facebook ad platform. That's all connected through here. This one just happens to be Google right now. So there's different sales channels of what I can go through. And then marketing. Here's all the labs. So like, I'm not marketing on Pinterest right now, but you can set up the app. You can do email marketing. I don't even know what Microsoft advertising is. You can, I can
Snapchat
run ads on Snapchat on here. I can, yeah, like there are like hundreds of apps that plug into this. Like, look at this. There's tons of marketing. There's store designs. There's like, I can advertise on TikTok on here. I can advertise, and I don't ever have to leave my Shopify, right? Like, there's so many plugins. I can't even tell you how to use half of these. So is there anything else on my back end that I want to, oh, discounts. I love that I can set up coupon codes on things that are automatic. So like, if you guys, like when I did my Thrift Boss Babe sale, the VIP sale, these are all like kind of like my, my gift cards, because I use a different system for my gift cards. So I also put it so that people can use it online. You can set them up to expire, which is fantastic. And then I was talking about plugins. I guess they're actually called apps here instead of plugins. Sorry. So apps. So like, here's my loyal shops. I've got loyal shops plugged in. I'm going to talk about some of these other ones later on. Like if I want to make barcode labels, I have one here. I have an add-ons app. So on some of my products, I started doing this and then I lost time and forgot that I actually had it until the other day. I can say, do you love this? You might like this with it. So like, you know, when you're on Amazon, they suggest other products. That's what this product add-on app is. And that product add-on app, I think was like $2 a month or something like that. You can plug in ShipStation, you can plug in Pirate Ship, you can plug in, there's Shopify email. I actually think Shopify email is free right now as well. So different things like that. My MailChimp's connected to here. So yeah, tons of different apps that you can plug into here. So that's kind of the back end.
So robust.
It is. There's so much you can do on it. And the same thing is like, there's so much to learn. So I know that was super overwhelming, but I want you guys to know that like, even I know that like, there's so much more room for me to grow, right? Because I just want you to see this is actually out there and this is something that you can use as a tool.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rebecca. That was really special because you don't get the chance to see someone's Shopify backend that's actually using it in real time. I know Natalie has Shopify because of her reply sold. Does anyone else have Shopify already? We should have asked. Anyone just have it? Not using it? Okay, so no.
This coming week, I'm having someone create one for me. Well, for the whole month of March. But the question I actually have for Rebecca is, do you recommend using the free like templates or to pay for an actual one?
I paid for a template, and I thank you for mentioning that because it's been a while since I created mine. I forgot about it. I think mine was like $149 for my template.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I would probably recommend building it out. I guess it just depends on what you need it to do, right?
Yeah.
You'll have to do a little bit of research on there. I like the way things looked on the template that I chose when I chose it. I think I'll probably eventually, you change your template over time. The great thing is with changing templates, like all your data is still there. Okay. So you can work on the back end until you're ready to go live on it. But okay. I would probably suggest paying for one.
Okay, yeah, because there's one that I found, but it doesn't, like usually at the top of the page or somewhere you can put in like the, request email, like sign up for, the newsletter or whatever. Right. But the one that I found is all the way at the bottom, so most people won't see it. So I'm like, okay. And there's other little things on, so I'm like, I may just want to buy one. I don't know.
The thing is, they're actually called themes on Shopify. Sorry, not templates. They're called themes. The good thing with a theme is you can reach out to the developers of the theme if you have a problem, and they generally have web support for you.
Okay, thank you.
Mine's just so exciting.
Awesome. Do you want to share your screen again, Sammy?
Yes. Are there any other questions before we jump back into things? We're almost done, and then we're going to go over homework questions and share the business action plan with you guys. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen. If you have any questions, just comment in the chat. All right, so we did our behind the scenes with Bloomers and Frocks. So Rebecca's going to talk about selling in person.
Yep.
And take it away.
All right, so if you guys don't know my journey, I actually started on Etsy, and then I did some markets around town, and then I had a booth in an antique store. This is actually the booth in my antique store many moons ago. My husband, my wonderful husband. Do you want to make your cameo appearance here, Eric?
Here, I'll stop sharing so they can see him. Hey, Eric.
Rescuing me to fix my printer.
Thank you, Eric. Sorry, wrong. There we go. Yeah.
There we go. So my wonderful husband built all those store fixtures for me. The great thing about a booth, and Patty said she had a booth too, is that you don't actually have to do any photography, but you do have to market the space. So Patty, on yours, if you have a business, do you have a Google business listing yet for the address at the place you have the booth in? Yeah, I was gonna say, so the one good thing is you can claim your business, because if there's a physical address, you'll get extra SEO juice. So if you have a physical space like inside an antique mall or a salon or something like that, you actually get a little bit more cred on Google for that. So kind of a fun thing to do. If you don't market the space and people don't know you're there, you're not going to get any sales. So that's definitely a con. So you do have to be really good at marketing. And then the other things I found out is that loss prevention can be an issue, especially if you're not working the space. So like if you have a booth, especially in an antique mall, you're generally not working your space. There's somebody else there that sells things. You just fill it up, juice it up, make it pretty. So people like with clothing, if they're trying it on, it might get ripped. They don't know. You might get things stolen. So loss prevention can be an issue. And if you're doing markets and they're outdoors, weather's an issue too. So
yeah.
But the great thing is it's a way to test out what the local market wants. And then if you want to be a bricks and mortar store, call me because I'll tell you you're crazy. Actually, I won't. It's super fun when there's not a pandemic raging, and it's really great because you get to interact with customers. You get to see people try things on. You get to add on accessories. It's actually really fun. But there's a whole lot more you need to know in terms of overhead and running a business. But for real, contact me if that's like your bigger goal. Contact me on that.
Tell them about the squirrel in your attic right now.
Wait, is the squirrel my biggest problem, or is like the flooded basement, or
I don't know.
that's about to fall on my roof? And all of these things in Texas fall on the renter. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely running a brick and mortar. It sounds like some states it might be easier than others. I didn't know that there was going to be that sort of stress on a renter until I met Rebecca. You would think it would be the landlord, but no, it's the renter. So
you learn so many skill sets. I mean, when I first met Sammy in person, I was literally sweeping my front sidewalk. Like you do so many extra things as a bricks and mortar owner that I'm like, I'm doing landscaping in heels. I remember there was no sidewalk laid and it was raining the first day I was having a grand opening party, and I went to Home Depot and bought pavers and was laying pavers down in the front yard so people wouldn't have to walk through mud. And I was doing it in a dress and heels. Like
love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So yeah, so selling online is a lot easier, basically. So we are rounding like second and a half base here, guys, before we get to homework questions and the business action plan. We're going to quickly go over some marketing tools. They are a little next level, but we just wanted to go over everything that is available to you, especially if you want to work on marketing to increase the branding recognition of your business. So I'm going to jump in here and talk about a few methods, and then Rebecca's going to close this out. So word of mouth, like this photo here is accurate. It's still the best. I mean, that phrase, know, like, trust. When I'm referred to something by someone that I know, like, trust, I'm like statistically probably 50% more likely to actually go and check out that thing or that person or that event and potentially make a purchase. So always be talking about your business. If you don't have cards, make cards or make stickers, wear your products, talk about the items that you're selling on Instagram that you're wearing on your body. When people compliment your outfit or just pay you a compliment. It's difficult, right? Because you kind of feel like you're bragging about yourself, but over time you learn to say, yeah, this is my business. I love what I do. I love my fashion. I would love for you to check it out. Can I send you some more information? Can I give you my business card? Can I add you to my Facebook group? There's a lot of different ways, you know, wherever you are, the grocery store, you know, kids, friends, parents, school network, at church. I don't know what other in-person activities y'all are doing right now, because I know life has slowed down. But as you meet people and certain things come up, just have something in your pocket, a business card, or again, your phone, where you can say, yeah, this is what I do. Are you interested? If you are, I'd love to add you to my Facebook group, or here's my Instagram, follow me on Instagram. And then you don't know when that person's going to need what you have, but then they have your information, or they're following you in some way where they can keep in touch with what you're offering.
Let me add a little bit right here real quick.
Yes, please.
So one of the great things, I'm always wearing my ridiculously fun big necklaces, and I get so many compliments on it. I don't tell people it's my store. So like one of my best places where I market is our Whole Foods market. And yes, I hang out at a grocery store pre-pandemic. There was a bar in there. I got so many customers off of this, and they'd be like, I love your necklace. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I got the cutest shop called Bloomers and Frocks down on South First Street. You should really check it out. Like, no joke. They'd come in, I'd be like, I wouldn't tell them it was my store. They'd come in, they'd be like, wait, yeah, it's my store.
That's hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so customers as influencers is kind of like what Rebecca did. Like, she pretended to be a customer. Well, she is. She's a customer of her own business, but she pretended just to be a customer. However, when we see customers, when we see other happy customers, again, statistically speaking, we're much more likely to want to go buy something from wherever it is that they bought what they're wearing or what have you. So again, back to even in our Instagram stories or on Facebook, just saying, oh, this sold. Again, it adds clout. So when you have your customers sharing photos with their following and with you to share to your following, you're going to increase the word of mouth marketing of your business. And it's very natural, it's very organic. A really great way to do this with your customer base, if you're not already doing it, is to tell that customer, like, let's say a customer is like, oh, here's a photo of me, whatever. If they haven't posted it yet on social media, say, can I give you a discount code so that if any of your followers want to purchase from me, they have a discount code because they're your follower or because they're your friends and family, what have you. This is easy to do on Etsy. I know on lives it's a little bit more difficult to do, but giving them an incentive to post and to share the news with their following and to give something back to their following means they're very likely to actually do that for you. And you don't have to pay them anything. They're just doing it because like they like what you have, they like you, and they want to share a discount or something of value to their following.
The one thing I would also recommend using here is use your own unique hashtag for that customer. So like mine's BF Customer Cutie, Bloomers and Frocks Customer Cutie. The shorter, the better. You got to find something that's unique to your business that somebody else isn't using. But that way you can also periodically go back through and go, oh my gosh, look at our great customers over the past 6 months. And then do boom, 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 boom. And your stories on Instagram. So right. You use a unique hashtag. And the other thing I also do is I save them in my highlights on Instagram as well.
Right. Yeah, hashtags are good because we for me as an example, I must have like 10,000 photos on my phone, and I know there's a way to search them on my phone, but I'm actually not that good with that sort of technology. I'm very disorganized in strange ways, and I have a block to getting organized. But hashtags, you just click the hashtag, and let's say you had a hashtag about your customers, but you have all their photos in your phone, but you can't find photos in your phone, but then you can find them on Instagram. So it's a way to keep things organized. Okay, so email marketing, Rebecca and I actually offered a training on this. We are going to give you guys some serious discounts on our trainings next week when you graduate so that you can continue to learn from us if you're interested. So we will offer this to you guys at a deep discount if you haven't already taken it. Email marketing is so important if you really want to take your business to the next level. You might not think it's super necessary, but as you begin to build your customer list, it's not too difficult to add on as long as you can just become familiar with the technology of choice that you're using for email marketing. The big pro is that you're reaching your customers directly. social media, you're still kind of, vulnerable to the algorithm. On Facebook Lives, you don't know if people are going to show up on Etsy and other platforms. Obviously, it just depends on if people know your shop or if they're searching for what you have. But email marketing, you're having a conversation with the people that, again, know, like, and trust you, or the people that have chosen to sign up for your newsletter. They've chosen to receive information from you. So they, for the most part, want to hear from you. Yes, people unsubscribe all the time, but it's okay. You don't need a huge email list to actually start to make money off of it. So these emails can just be as simple as, every quarter you send out a 20% off, here's all the things on sale on my shop email, or it's Christmas, here's what's coming up, or back to the live sales. You let your loyal customers know, I'm about to have a live sale, or I'm about to have a story drop, but you guys get access to the things to purchase first. Here's the links to my website, or here's the links to where they're available for purchase. However you want to develop your email marketing, how do I say this, almost bonuses for your email marketing list is up to you. But the more that you do it and the more that people become comfortable, or not even comfortable, but used to receiving emails from you, they'll start buying from you. And I know this personally because I've been doing email marketing for years. And it's amazing sometimes. I'll be like, I cannot believe that I just sent 2 emails and I made this money. But it's because people like to buy from their inbox because, I don't know, again, it's a psychology. I can't explain it, but I think that there's something about receiving an email that makes things feel professional. So we're happy to help you with this because we do think that it's important, especially if you really want to reach your pre-existing customers and help them to continue to buy from you. Rebecca's going to talk about co-op marketing. So take it away, Rebecca.
Real quick, I want to answer this. I get so hung up on the introductory email. I want to make sure that I put it out there first so people, if they want to unsubscribe, the opportunity to do so, is what Chelsea just wrote. On your introduction email, just be like, hi, I'm Chelsea. This is what I do. Here's where you can find me. Thanks so much for joining me. I mean, You're going to find out your open rates. You're going to, over time, people are going to open things. Some people aren't, and what I would tell them in the introductory email is how often they're going to hear from you and what they're going to hear. And that's all you need to do. And it just needs to be one paragraph, a picture of yourself, a picture of your merchandise. That's it. Make it super simple. Don't overthink it. Don't put too much information into it.
Yeah. I love that.
Co-op marketing. So there's many ways you can do cooperative marketing. We're going to talk about some of them. I think you guys have all seen that I do this vintage around town guide in Austin. This is one of the things that drives the most money to my bricks and mortar store. It's fantastic because this is at every single checkout of every single vintage shop that's listed in here. That is a requirement of being in the guide. So if somebody's at my competitors down the way and they didn't find what they're looking for, they're like, oh my gosh, there's more vintage. This is awesome. They're going to look in here and go, oh, I can walk down the street to Bloomers and Frocks, and they come check me out. And we cross refer each other all the time. And since the pandemic hit, everybody that's in this guide plays so well together. We refer each other to each other's businesses all the time. We have a chat group that we talk about with just bricks and mortar owners. I actually used to do one of these just for the businesses on my street. They're not all vintage. They're restaurants and retailers. So you can do it by geography. Now, if you're doing this online, there are different ways that you can do it as well. But the thing is, it has to be give and take. So if you're referring people to another business, they have to be referring back to you as well. And you'll hear it from your customers. I mean, even online, I hear it from my customers. So like Patty, with your booth, like I would let other people know, and like other antique malls, be like, in the neighborhood, or not the neighborhood, the city, like wherever you're at, you can go, oh, well, these are the antique stores around here. And it'll drive traffic. So the next one.
Next slide.
We were going to talk about, co-op with online. So
because a lot of us, well, all of us don't have brick and mortar stores, or we don't have the bandwidth to create this beautiful map, but there are ways to do it online. Just as a quick example, I know Betty participated in something very similar. What you can do is just start to partner with other sellers that you like and say to them, okay, on Sunday night at 8 p.m., we're all going to post to our stories 10 items for sale, but we're also going to post to our stories other people's items. I'm going to post to my stories what you're selling. So let's say there's like 4 people participating. So I'll post my items for sale, and then I'll post Rebecca's items for sale, Betty's items for sale, and Chelsea's items for sale. Chelsea will post her items for sale, my items for sale, Betty's items for sale, Rebecca's items for sale, so on and so forth. That is cooperative marketing. You can brand it and you can market it as like an online secondhand bazaar or a women helping women event or whatever, like even a Valentine's Day event. Go grab some wine and shop our stories and you know, witness us helping each other. However you want to market it is really up to you. But the whole point of it is that you're consciously saying, I mean, really, it's like, I believe in abundance, because there's a con, right? You're like, I'm going to generate money for other people with my following. You might think to yourself, well, I've worked so hard for my following, I don't want to do that. But the whole idea is that you're going to gain new followers from them as well. So to do something like this, I would recommend working with people at your level, or maybe, you know, a notch above, a notch below, because we all need help, right? You know, we can't rise if others don't help us rise. But it's a really, really great idea also to increase your followers. So this is something that if you are interested in creating IG story sales, this is a great idea for the future. Of course, someone has to be the leader of it and organize it. But I'm seeing it happen more and more. I looked for a hashtag to see if there was a trending hashtag beyond this idea of these like joint story sales, and I could not find one. Betty, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about yours, but if you want to drop your experience in the chat, we would love to hear it. But that slide was really just for you guys to start to think to yourself, how can I work with others so that we all grow, so that we all rise? And you might have a different idea, a different vision based on this term, cooperative marketing.
I would say that there's other things that I do too. So like I have other sellers. So like I had a jeweler in my neighborhood or in my city that came in, and I did an Instagram takeover. So we filmed her shopping the store, right? And she just pulled her 10 favorite things. And the great thing is I went back and she brought jewelry for me, and I went and pulled my 10 favorite things from hers. So then she shared my stuff on her feed and vice versa. So there's other ways you can do that as well. And you can even do that virtually. So
Instagram takeovers, actually, that's something. Wow, that's a whole other thing. People grow their audiences as well by giving access to their Instagram account, which is, again, it's like your personal information. So, you know, you just have to do it. So I would give Rebecca my password and my login, and she would go live on my feed, just like showing her store. And then I would go live on Rebecca's feed showing my store. And she would give me her login information. It's very popular.
Say one thing on that though, is if you give your login information, you're going to want to change it afterwards, after the live is done. If you have Instagram drafts listed, ready to go, when you change your password, you will lose those. So just know that.
Yeah.
I've learned this the hard way.
People do it all, like there's whole channels that just let people go live within the thrifters community. Like they just do Instagram takeovers. So it's popular. So, but again, do it with people you trust.
Right.
All right, Rebecca, talk to us about press releases.
Press releases. Okay, so I regularly, quarterly, do press releases, and I do them. I've kind of got my 3 standard press releases. I update them every year. Once you draft them, I engage with local media. So my previous job was actually with the Austin Independent Business Alliance. I put together this brochure that no longer looks good, but I used to work with tons of local businesses, and then I'd promote that out to the press, and like I'd let people know where to shop local. So one thing that I have from that previous career is that I have relationships with a lot of local reporters. During the pandemic, I reached out to our local news stations. I got interviewed via Zoom calls on like the state of small businesses at the beginning of the pandemic, how you can still support your small shops. And then I organized like 3 or 4 other shop owners that went live, and we did this series of it. I send out press releases every once in a while just about my store. Sometimes I find that they're going to pick up a bigger story. So like if you're like, oh, look at the resellers working from home in Louisville, Kentucky, right? And you find 3 or 4 other people and you write a press release of like, this is a new growing trend. Maybe your local newspaper will pick that up, right? So there's actually more word of mouth. The 2 that I have on here, one of these, I was so proud of that. Who's on first with that giant picture of my store underneath. I did a professional photo shoot for this. That went out in Austin Monthly, which is a huge publication here. I sent that press release quarterly for 4 years before I got that coverage.
Wow.
And when that coverage came out, it came out not last year, the year before, during March, during South by Southwest. And I got tons of business from that. It was just me being persistent. I sent the same freaking press release 4 times a year for 4 years. Like, it was insane. The one behind that is a local publication here. It's called Community Impact. It's one of the few things people actually pick up and read. It's delivered to everybody's physical mailbox. It's snail mailed to everybody. I like the smaller publications like that. I also love neighborhood community newsletters.
That
So
might be
like
the next
neighborhood
slide.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, here, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, community newsletters. So like the neighborhood association that I'm in, I do one for the Downtown Neighborhood Association in Austin. But I love this even in your local neighborhood where you live in, you can put in there. And the reason I love this is because I get closet cleanouts from these. So people see that little article and they're like, oh, wait, she buys. I literally had a woman like a couple months ago, she had cut this little thing out that I had advertised in like 3 or 4 years ago, and she cut it out and put it on her fridge, and she was probably in her early 80s, and she finally called me when she was ready to clean out her closet, and she had some amazing stuff. Like, I was shocked when I saw she pulled it off the fridge and showed it to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So you do need to make sure you have a call to action on there. You need to have an email, website, or a phone number. I also found, because of the older audiences on this, phone numbers are fantastic because people actually do pick up the phone and call you, especially when you're getting inventory. So that's another tip on how to get inventory as well. They're also really inexpensive to advertise in. I think I pay $10 a month for my local neighborhood newsletter down here. And I'm in it monthly. So
Love that story. All right, social media paid ads.
All right, guys.
Here we go.
I am not going to go into detail with a lot of these, but I want you to know that this is next level, okay? I got a Facebook ad grant as a small business, and I got $1,500 in ad credit. And guys, I want to rip my hair out trying to spend this money because they like wouldn't link to my Shopify, right? And so like, it's like, if you come to me with specific questions, I'm going to tell you to Google it or to hire somebody. So just a heads up on that. But I want you to know these are out there for next level things. One of the great things about Facebook ads is you can run what are called carousel ads, and you can link it to your own website where your products actually just circle through and people can look at everything that's on your website. You get to set your own budget with Facebook, and Instagram and Facebook are gonna be interchangeable on the ads. They're all back on the business manager side. They look exactly the same on the back end. So when you look at my Instagram screen next here, same thing. You do have to have a call to action on it, whether it's buy now, join my email list, that sort of thing. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. And you can test different photos. You can A/B test the words that you use on the ad. The thing I ended up doing with my ad credit is I drove people to my email list. So I was actually able to grow my email list by like 500 people just by doing ads. And that I thought was more beneficial than trying to get a one-off sale on them, because now I can market to them continuously. So just know that these tools are out there. Go ahead and hit the next slide.
And this link, if you guys feel like it, we'll share more information on Instagram ads.
Thanks. Pinterest, same thing. I have a couple of friends that own shops here that swear by Pinterest, because you can link it to your own website. You can also link it to Etsy, and you can do shoppable pins, or you can do the same thing I was talking about before, which is called a carousel ad, where your inventory rotates in them. We have more information on both of these links here on how to set those up if you're interested. I don't use them yet, although I'm about to hire somebody who is a Pinterest expert. So I'm hoping to grow in that direction as well. So I'll report back in 6 months.
Yeah, Pinterest sounds like the best of the three, simply because of how people are using it. Mm-hmm. You know, like they're looking for inspiration, and then they see like some beautiful items for sale, and they're just in that headspace.
Same with Google ads. Google ads are pay per click versus a set rate for eyeballs on the ad. So you only get charged when somebody actually clicks on your ad. It's great for a physical location, or if you're trying to drive people to content, although it's not as great for a reseller for selling one-off sort of items, because everything needs to have an individual description, I think. So if they give you 15 of an item, it makes more sense to use their shopping ads, but it doesn't necessarily make sense for a reseller. But you can use them, as I said, to grow your email list or to drive them to a market or a booth or a location. And then paid influencers. I personally feel we are on the back end of this trend, although it is out there that you can work with people for paid influencers. And I'd probably say that there is probably another solid 2 years or so in this trend. But as with every single marketing tool, it goes through its peak and comes down, and there are different things to it. But there is some value in this, especially if you're working with somebody who has a good following and you just want to build brand awareness of what you're selling. You want to make sure you work with people that fit your niche. So if you're selling, say Patty's selling her home goods, right? She wants to work with maybe an interior designer. Or if you're selling,
Designer.
Okay, designer clothes. You want to work with somebody who really knows what the designer market is, especially in the secondhand designer market, right? I was gonna say, if you want to work with somebody who you're selling very specific, like 1970s, and you work with somebody who has the aesthetic and just has like a lifestyle Instagram or a lifestyle blog of that sort of thing, then you would look for that sort of person. There are pros and cons to this with everything else. I would tell you to, at the level we're all at, you want to work with kind of what are called micro influencers. So they probably have a following of 2,000 to 10,000 people. Because otherwise, once you get higher than that, it's going to cost you more in terms of either product or cash, however you pay them. And you can just do trade for product. So the downside is you don't really have control over how they're marketing your product. You can kind of put that in your agreement, but you might not like how they do the product placement. And you can't actually really measure the return on investment. You might be able to say, oh, I found out that, I got 25 extra followers that day, but was it from that or did you post something else? So there's not like a concrete way of measuring your ROI.
I would say there is if you ask the influencer to shout out your email list. Because then people would sign up for your email list. When I was featured on Tailor Made Styles video a few weeks ago, I received 500 Instagram followers.
That's awesome. That's
and
awesome.
She's a micro influencer. So it's all really up to you guys to decide how you want to grow your business ultimately. But definitely, like Rebecca said, you don't have to pay them cash. You could have $500 worth of vintage that quote unquote is valued at $500, but obviously you didn't buy it for $500. And you could do an exchange just for them to wear something and to tag you on Instagram. And then you might get 200 followers from that tag, or up to 500. It all just depends on how their following trust that shout out. But you definitely want to work with influencers, I would suggest, that are in like the secondhand world, just because that's what we all represent.
Awesome.
And okay, so I'm doing this. So guys, we are rounding third base. We're going to go over these tools super fast. These are more technical. Well, I guess everything's been technical. What am I saying? These are even more technical tools. We just want you guys to know, again, that these are available to you. I know for a fact that Amy, she uses List Perfectly to cross-list between platforms. So if you do choose to say do, Etsy and Poshmark, or Etsy and Mercari, what have you, or Etsy and eBay, it doesn't work for every platform, but there's enough where you can choose one of these cross-listing, technologies. And then you can say, all right, I'm going to post on Poshmark, but then it's posting on these other platforms as well. We're not going into how these cross-listing technologies work, but they do work. And they do allow you to basically to squeeze more out of your time. You have to manage it. You have to be on top of it. But I'm sure Amy has more to say about it. So Amy, if you want to even drop anything in the chat, we would love to hear it.
What I use, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. What I usually do is I'll list to, say, for example, if I list to Poshmark, then I'll put the item in the catalog in List Perfectly, or whatever venue you choose to use. But List Perfectly you can make a catalog. It's an unlimited catalog. So I'll list it one platform, list it to List Perfectly, and then go there and list it to the other platforms. And I'll keep a track of all the different platforms I listed at. So for example, if I sell a skirt, I'm not like, oh, great, what other places did I post this at? I can just go to List Perfectly and see, okay, I posted on Depop, Etsy, and eBay. Then I just go and I can just delete that. And they can keep all the information on List Perfectly. So let's say I decide to, one of the things I'm thinking about is taken off all the coats because we're going into spring. I can delete all the coats from all the platforms, keep it on list perfectly. So come September, I just click a button and relist everything without having to
nice.
take out the pictures, figure out, you know, all the information. I can just store everything on there.
Wow. So it almost becomes like a hard drive in a
Yes.
sense
Yeah.
for all of your listings. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And you guys, you know, our Facebook group, if you have questions about cross listing, you know, how to use it, etc., I'm sure Amy can help
Oh,
you
yeah.
because she's
I don't know
using it
much, but
firsthand.
I'm happy to help.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Anytime.
Thank you. So there's also something called Poshmark Sharing Assistance. This is new-ish. I'd say about 2 years old. Again, back to Poshmark. To really start to build an audience, you have to quote unquote share your listing. So imagine that you're just going into your Poshmark, you know, shop, and then you're clicking share. They have things called parties where it's a themed event of, you know, Coach handbags or lingerie or Levi's denim, whatever. And if you have an item that fits that theme, you can share it, quote unquote, into the party. It's basically a landing page where customers and sellers can find all the items under that theme. Okay, you're probably already overwhelmed, right? You're just like, Sammy, I don't even want to bother. So there's these sharing assistants. I don't know if they're real people or bots, so I can't really speak to that, but you can purchase technology. I have heard firsthand that Reseller Assistant, hyperlinked here, is very good. That will allow you, that will share your closet for you. So it comes with a fee, but if you're just using Poshmark, and if you're maybe you're already making $3,000 a month on Poshmark, but you're just overwhelmed, adding something such as a Poshmark sharing assistant to your business model is definitely the next step so that you can have more time in your life. Virtual assistants are also very helpful if you know what to use them for. So we're about to talk about Fiverr, which is in our next slide, but you can actually hire someone to work with you on a month-to-month basis. Some of us have Facebook groups here, and we might have difficulty managing that Facebook group. We could go to one of these platforms. These are just 3 examples. I have hired from Free Up before. Pretty much everyone on that platform is from the Philippines, but you can hire someone at, my goodness, as low as $1 an hour. But typically about $7 an hour. And so just as a quick example, this virtual assistant could help to accept new members into your Facebook group, to schedule posts for you, to make sure that no one's posting anything that they're not allowed to post, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever you need them to do, you basically teach them the tasks so that you don't have to take care of them.
Okay.
Those of us in resale, we might not feel like we need a virtual assistant, but if you are, say, building out a Shopify site, you might, you know, end up wanting someone who has, let's just say, SEO skills, and they're going to work with you on a month-to-month basis and this is next level stuff, guys, but like Rebecca could hire a virtual assistant to contact bloggers and to contact websites to say, hey, you know, I represent Bloomers and Frocks. It's a vintage store. We have this sort of content. Would you be open to us creating a guest post on your website? And then that guest post link would link back to Rebecca's shop, which would help her site to get more traffic and help Google to further recognize her site. Next level stuff. The virtual assistants are out there, so don't ever think that as your business grows, you can't hire out. Virtual assistants give you a very affordable way to hire assistants. Fiverr is what I want you all to start to explore if you haven't already used it. I hear from resellers all the time, I don't have enough time to create social media graphics. I don't have enough time to create videos. I don't know how to do it, blah, 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 blah. I don't either. I hire on Fiverr for the most part. There's some design stuff I just do because I can do it. I can whip it out. I've taught myself. But let's say you want to make a social media cover for a Facebook group or a business page. Go on Fiverr, type in Facebook cover, Facebook business page cover. You can hire someone for $25 at most to make that for you. You can hire someone to take 25 images that represent your brand, add some music, create some text, and it's a promo video for your brand. And then you can use that in various capacities. Whatever it is that you feel like you need that makes you feel like you're creating branding or just taking your business to the next level, but you don't know how to do it or you don't have time to do it, take a look at Fiverr. I have used it since 2013 and it is a godsend for me. This is something called Flipper Tools. It's interesting. So for those of us who are on Etsy or eBay, we sometimes aren't sure how much things sold for. So eBay, you can search for what things sold for, but you don't know what the best offer price was. What does that mean? Let's say I'm selling a DVF dress on eBay and someone makes an offer. I had it listed at $300. They make an offer of $240. I accept it. But if I go back and search to see what DVF dress is sold for, I'm never going to see what it's sold for as a best offer price because it's just going to have a strike through of that $300. It's not going to say $240 in the sense of the history of the sale. So what I can do as a seller is I can take that hyperlink of that DVF dress once it's sold, put it in the eBay sold best offer prices website, and it will actually tell me what it sold for as a best offer price. This is important because if we are listing these high-end items, we don't want to undervalue our items. And the true value of an item, the best way to tell the value of an item is supply and demand on the platform where we're selling it. So it's good to know what's the average price of an item that I'm trying to sell. Etsy, you can't see what it sold for at all. I can't go on Etsy and search sold. I wish every Etsy seller wishes as well that they could see, because again, we're all selling vintage. So it's like, I might sell the same vintage dress for $80 and someone else sells it for $40 because no one's able to get a price gauge as to what the average selling price is. We're all just deciding based on our own, our own criteria, what it should sell for. But what you can do with this tool is, let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to spy on this seller on Etsy that I admire. I like what they list. They have a few items that I have similar items, right? They have a 1970s caftan. I have a 1970s caftan, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go, and you can still see what people sold. You just can't see the prices. And I'm not going to show you guys how to find that right now, but you can do it. But you can see their list of sold items. You can take the hyperlink, put it on this website that's hyperlinked here, Etsy Solds, and it will tell you what that item sold for. So I think what's interesting about these two tools is it shows you that, like, we think we don't have access to information on the internet, but eventually the world figures out how to get access to that information. So if you need these two tools, they are invaluable if you're selling on eBay and Etsy so that you can better price your items. Okay, Rebecca's going to talk about this remarketing, retargeting tool.
Okay, so have you guys ever been on Amazon or eBay or, I don't know, Walmart.com, and then later on you're on a totally different website. You're on, like, I'm learning how to lose weight, whatever. And all of a sudden there's an ad for what you were just looking at, and you're like, how did they know I was there, right? Like, which is hilarious because some of the things I look at, I'm like, oh crap, now they're gonna follow me in those ads. Like, my husband was like, oh, check out these jeans, and now I'm getting ads for men's jeans, right? Like, I'm like, oh. So I was like, I want to do that with my products. And I sat through this training, and I had this moment because I didn't know what it was called. Like, I didn't know how to Google it. I was just like, how do I do that? You guys, it's called remarketing. And it's either called remarketing or retargeting, depends on what country you're in. So you'll see those two terms kind of interchanged. But the great thing is when you have your own website, and I believe you can also do this for Facebook products as well. You can actually, if somebody comes to your website and they click on something, you can have your ad follow that product, follow them around the internet. So they're like, it's in their face, like, come buy me, come buy me. I actually did this for a while, and I need to get back to it. I just lost my attention span on doing things. And this has worked for me in getting people to buy things as well. It's kind of like those emails that go out with the abandoned shopping cart, right? It's just, it's another tool of getting eyeballs back on it. And this is somebody who's already been on your website. You have to have a Facebook business page in your own website because you need what's called a Facebook pixel. But then once they click on your page, I mean, you know, when you opt into all the cookies everywhere, everybody's like, oh, you have to opt in on websites. That's what this will do. You're opting in so that you can market to them later on. This is so next level. It will take you a while to get here, but I wanted you guys to know what the top is. Like, what can I strive to get to towards, like, what are all the tools? So again, logistically, some of these things you're like, oh my gosh, that's so overwhelming. But if you don't know it's there, you don't know you can't get there, right? So I want to let you guys know what remarketing was. And then these are two just quick bookkeeping software programs that are, I've heard everybody kind of talk about this since it's tax time in my own personal group in Austin and the groups where how do I account for things. I love GoDaddy bookkeeping. When I was doing my own books, I loved it because it ties PayPal in. And it separates out your PayPal fees from your shipping fees. That PayPal automatically does it. So you don't have to think about that, which is really awesome. It's like $10 a month or $12 a month for GoDaddy bookkeeping. I hired a bookkeeper and I just switched to Waze, and it's a free platform. There's free plans available, but it can go up from there, but like $10 a month. They're really quick, easy bookkeeping tools. And I just threw this in here. It's not really a marketing thing, but it is a tool for you guys to use in the background.
And try to keep a business checking account and one business credit card for as close to 100% of your transactions. I promise you, it will make your lives easier.
Oh yes, please do that. I totally forgot about that. I would never use my personal credit card now for it or anything like that. Please, absolutely sign up for a second card, because you can automate everything. Why make more work for yourself when you can automate it? All right, I'm going to show this on my screen share, Sammy.
Okay.
This is going back to our homework, and then we'll go back into our homework. Okay, so I am going to, I just had to fix this while you were chatting. I'm going to go over this one more time. Okay, so you guys, remember this big screen share, this big spreadsheet you guys got, right? When you get here, please go to File and make a copy. And you want to do this for the entire thing. Somebody accidentally wanted to do one of them and they only made a copy of the tab, and then it went back and it ruined the master spreadsheet for everyone. So I just fixed it. So if your information was in there, sorry, I deleted it. You're gonna have to start over. It wasn't much, so.
So all they have to do is make a copy from the first tab, which says goal tracking.
Correct. And it'll pull up all the spreadsheets for you. So I made a copy already so I can show you guys that. Amy, you asked me, I believe it was Amy, to add more rows. So I went ahead and did that down here for you. So when you go back through, you can go to the original link that we sent you. And I'm sure Sammy can drop in the email tonight, link back to this. I added more rows in here for you. If you guys need to add more rows for your expenses, you're going to right click on here and you're just going to do insert one row above or insert one row below. So if you guys have more expenses on here, and then if you're not sure of the formula, you can go to the formula above it and then look at it and then just make the row. So here is going to be equals this times 12, because that's what the formula above is. So you're just kind of looking at the formula to make it in there. So I've added that in there. You can add in what your extra expenses are in there, Amy. I hope that helps you. And you guys can feel free to make the spreadsheet your own if you're not quite sure about the formula. As I said, just look at what's next to it. There's only one formula that links to the page to page, which is this spreadsheet right here. Your bottom formula here for your expenses will link to your very first page, which is your goal tracking. Those expenses will automatically pull over here. So, but what I want to go over was marketing here. You guys, I made this just as a simple spreadsheet for you guys to be able to kind of focus what you want to do on your marketing. So as you're buying, you might find out like, I got a whole bunch of little black dresses by Dorothy O'Hara, and maybe that month I just want to make it the little black dress month, right? Or maybe it's Valentine's Day and I want to do all pink and red and white and romantic things. So I just made this so you guys can remember what you're doing and you can kind of track. And what I really recommend is don't do a full year at once, do 3 months at a time, because things are going to change. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I did my entire year last year all at the beginning. I was so proud of myself. I was on top of things. I had everything scheduled, and then boom, March, all out the window. So I did a whole bunch of work for nothing. So just plan 3 months at a time. So just put in like what your marketing focus is. If you're sending emails, it's great to send them on Tuesday through Thursdays. Just put kind of what you're putting on your emails. If you're sending it marketing via Instagram, you can change that from email marketing to something else. Put kind of what you're doing with your social media. This will help you focus and really go, okay, this other thing came along, I can add that in, but how does it fit in here? Or maybe it fits in next month, or maybe it fits in next week. So it gives you an overview of your marketing. Just a tool for you to use. You don't have to use it, but I found it easier for myself. And then I put in another one for social media. I put in the major holidays here for you guys. And then just kind of what your social media focus is going to be. Is it going to be, you know, swimsuits today, or lingerie, or, you know, kind of just, it's to help you organize. Make this your own. This is just kind of broken down by week, but if you get the beginning of the week and go, here's my sales goal for the week, here's how many items I need to list, here's how much money I have in, and here's what my marketing focus is. So those are kind of like the 4 things. Do a check-in on Monday morning. My Monday morning is actually Tuesday, Wednesday morning, because I take Mondays off. Whatever day is that you're back into work mode, take a glance at this. But that way, if you plan out 3 months in advance, you can also kind of see where you're at. And then the last sheet on here, super easy. This is just your followers. I think one of the things we forget to do is track our followers. And then you're like, oh, I haven't done anything. I don't know why my community is not engaged. And you go, oh, wait, in January, I only had 500 Instagram followers, but now I'm up to 5,000 in September. Oh my gosh, that's incredible growth. Like, you don't realize how much you're doing. So make this your own. If you're on a different platform, if you're on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, your email list, I highly recommend tracking your email list, whatever it is. You can change those words out to whatever they are. But I also keep a track of like how many items or how many posts I'm making on each one to go, oh, I didn't have that much engagement this week. This is why, because there was something else going on and I didn't make that many posts, or I had a ton of engagement and this is why. Or you find out like there's something totally not correlated. Like I made that post on the Instagram, Facebook thing and I got 10,000 shares on it. That had nothing to do with my business, but why did all of us all of a sudden get an engagement? But you can, at the end of the year, look back and track where you were and what went well and what didn't go well just by looking at those numbers. Those are the last 3 sheets of the spreadsheet of awesomeness.
And also with the marketing, something that I don't think we pointed out is that if we are on a Depop or a Poshmark or an Etsy, we run sales. We can run sales on our whole stores. So you can put that in your marketing. Like, I'm going to run a Valentine's Day sale, a St. Patty's Day sale, we don't teach you guys to put things on sale all the time, but if that's what you want to do for your business, then you can more strategically remember, oh, I need to actually post about the sale a week before the holiday, like Valentine's Day, like actually 2 weeks, right, Rebecca? Like end of January before Valentine's Day.
If you're shipping things, yeah. If you're shipping, if you're like, so for Valentine's Day, you need to start promoting mid-January for Valentine's Day. Because you got to imagine there's a week of shipping in there.
Or it's just like President's Day and you're like 20% off, because it doesn't matter. They don't need to get things on President's Day. They're not buying t-shirts of, Abe Lincoln. But if it relates to getting the item for the holiday, then you need to know, oh, I need to post 30 days in advance or 14 days in advance, whatever. So I believe, I'm going to just go back here, but I believe it's the end of our slideshow, guys. You're probably like, oh my gosh, that was so much. Who is like feeling good / overwhelmed? Raise your hand, because I'm pretty sure that who's just feeling overwhelmed. That's okay. So we're just going to remind you, you do not need to know all of this information, but at least you have a sense of it. You never know the direction that life is going to take you, or where the direction life is going to take your business. So if you at least now know what a Facebook pixel is, and you need to kind of know that in 3 years, well, you can say you heard it here first. But if you never need to know that, it's fine. You just have the information, but you don't need to learn more about it. So Rebecca, should we open the floor for questions about homework and then share the business action plan? Homework. Okay.
I think so.
So Jackie, you had a question about homework, about our homework.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It was just on inventory. I wasn't sure if Rebecca was referring to the inventory that I had acquired during that month, or what that exactly meant.
It's a great question.
In regards to cost, was it on the expense sheet?
It's on the spreadsheet of awesomeness under the expenses sheet.
So what I would do is every time you go to the thrift store that week or wherever you're acquiring your inventory, make a little list of it, right? Keep it in your car, keep it in your purse. Oh gosh, because you'll forget that you spent $20 here and $30 there. And oh, I forgot that one run, especially if you're paying in cash. which I highly, highly recommend getting a business credit card, putting it on the business credit card, and paying that credit card off every single month. But if you do that, you can automatically track it in your bookkeeping. There's a record of it versus the cash transactions are a little bit harder.
So this is basically my acquired inventory for that month. And I'm going to use this in terms of developing my cost of goods sold.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's also going to give you a sense of, you're going to find out, oh, I spent $500 of this month on inventory and I only sold 300, which you guys, I've done that with a few extra zeros on it before. So like the way I prep my business is like, I need all my inventory in January. I don't want it before January because I have bricks and mortar. I have to pay inventory tax on it. So I don't want to buy it before then. That's a whole nother story. But I need it for February and March because that's my busy season. So there's a lot of times my January is net negative in profit.
Because you bought so much inventory. Got it. Got it.
But it
Wow.
helps you kind of see where your buying seasons and where your selling seasons are. And it also tells you where you're overspending.
Yeah, like we were just joking. We forget who we buy from during the live sales. Like we forget that we bought from 4 people, and then we get packages and we remember that we bought 4 times. We're like, oops. But that's all good because we're supporting each other. Are there any other questions about the homework, or even just like an aha? I know we saw some ahas in the Facebook group, but if anyone wants to chime in, I know we didn't have a lot of time to talk tonight. This was a lot of information, but next week you guys are only talking. So if you did just, Patty, I saw Patty turn herself off mute.
I had a homework question too about this hours spreadsheet. And you're putting in items listed per month. That means the total items you have listed on that platform, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So you may have already listed them the month before, but they're still listed plus whatever you listed that month.
No,
Okay, because
actually,
I figured that was
just,
how.
It's just the new listings.
Oh, it's just the new listing.
It's just the new listing because the time tracking one that she's asking the question on.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, the one for the formula. So it figures out how much you can expect to earn. It would seem like it would have to be the whole, like I have 540 items listed on eBay. So if the average price per item I have is $55, so there's like 29,000 total listed in inventory. And then if I have a 6% turn rate, I made $1,782. And that's how it worked out. Like that was what worked out to what I actually sold to.
Okay.
But if I had just listed the number of items I listed new that month, I don't think it would have told me the correct thing.
I believe you're correct. Yeah. I'll have to double check and I
Okay.
can look at it on the back end, but I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll make a note. And
That's
I think
true.
you can also make another copy, Patty, and do it both ways. You can do it with, the 540 items, and then you can do it.
It
with
worked
the
out better
100
for me
items.
this way because I had no idea how many new items I actually listed. So,
I would recommend tracking your items that your new listings. So like just look at how many listings you have now, how many items that sold, and how many you ended the month with or the week, whatever way you're looking at, right? So if you have 500 items now, you sell 100 and you end up with 700 items. That means you've listed 300 items, right?
And for the time spent, it's like, because usually I'll list something first on Surf Boss Babes or on Instagram. And then if it doesn't sell in a week, I pull the description directly from wherever I posted it for, paste it into an eBay listing, pull the pictures into there, and then it lives on my store.
Right.
After that. So it's like I'm double using, so I'm not sure how to attribute the time.
Account for the time for it. It's not science on this. This is just to bring awareness to where you're spending your time. So
Okay.
I would say like that's a good system to have. If you didn't have that system, we would hope that this, exercise in the spreadsheet would bring awareness that should be your system. So, any other questions, guys, before we dive into bringing it all together in our business action plan? Are you guys excited? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sure.
So I'm gonna share my screen. Patty's like, oh my gosh, you made me think more in the last 3 weeks than I've had to all year. So guys, we are gonna head over here. I think in your inboxes right now, you should have it because I scheduled it for 7:30. Yeah, it just turned 7:30. As promised, Rebecca and I wanted to build a house with you guys. So we're kind of decorating it right now. We've built the foundation, the skeleton, the cement. Maybe it has like brick, some shingles, what have you. And so you've had 3 weeks of just really examining your business, of looking at the numbers, of finding the numbers, because maybe you never looked at the numbers. Or maybe you're just starting out with your resale business and you just have this fresh canvas and you're deciding how you want to move forward. Wherever you're at, it's perfect, but we hope that you can take the information that you've learned from us and that you've learned from doing the homework and apply it to what we've coined the 2021 Business Growth and Marketing Plan. Now, all of us on this call have a one-on-one scheduled with either myself or Rebecca. We realize that you might not have this filled out for our call, but we're hoping that if you start to fill this out or have some thoughts about filling it out, that you can use our one-on-one consultation to go over it with us. Or if you just have a burning question about something here or there, that we can help you through it during that one-on-one coaching call. Now, this is designed, I'm about to share it with you guys, 1 second. This is designed, the PDF that you got is designed from March 2021 until December, the end of December 2021. So that's 10 months. You can do this for 6 months or for 10 months. Some of us just can't think that far out. We completely understand, but just know that it's here for you and that you can obviously extend it until the end of the year when you're ready. So we hope that you can print this out and that you can write your name and you can write your business name, make it super official, because we want you to feel like this is your contract for yourself to grow your business. So the first page, we want you to use the exercises, and I might miss a few beats here, guys, just because I actually forget all the homework that we assigned you. But we want you to use the exercises that allows you to take a look at your lives honestly, where you realize, okay, you know, I have to pick up the kids here, or I have to do this. This is, you know, on average, the amount of time I can work per month or per week. But also, we all have different seasons of life. So back to what Rebecca said, she's really busy February and March, so she might work 60 hours a week just because. But come summer, she's working 20 hours a week because it's a slow season. So only you know that, but to the best of your ability, let's just talk about March. We want you to write the hours per week that you can work on your business and the total hours per month. And then we want you to take from those 10 SMART goals that we had you expand upon in last week's homework. We want you to decide, is March the right month to start to focus on SMART goal 1, 7, and 9? Or whatever SMART goals you feel like you can start to work on this month, or even complete. Again, we don't know that, only you know that for yourself. You can also answer here if this is typically a high, average, or low income month. Some of us have just started our businesses. We might not be able to answer that. That's okay. And then the metric of all metrics, because we want you guys to make money, but we want you to make money in a way that creates less stress and is utilizing your time more efficiently. But based on the numbers, the spreadsheet of awesomeness, everything that you've done, how much money do you want to make this month? A reminder, most resale businesses grow 10% per month on a yearly basis, or not per month, across a year. So between 2021 and 2020, or between 2020 and 2021. But you guys might have just made so many tweaks and just realized, wow, I can make another $1,000 this month compared to January 2021. If that's what you believe, put that down. And then what I did, I spoke to Rebecca about this earlier because I wanted to put the exact dates, but I realized that some months have 4 weeks and some months have like 5 weeks. So what I did is I averaged it out to week 1, week 2, week 3. Or I'm sorry, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And however that shows up for you, because you might start working on Wednesday to Wednesday, whatever, but just in general, a 7-day period, what income producing activities are you going to focus on? So let's create a hypothetical here. I'm a reseller and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm going to host a live sale once a week from my Facebook group or from my business page or from my IG. Maybe I'm going to do an IG live and a Facebook live. So I'm going to write that down for week 1, week 3, and week 4. So right then and there, I know, wow, I have 2 big responsibilities every week for all of March. And then whatever other income producing activities mean something to you in your resale business. That could be taking photos, that could be listing, that could be listing on Facebook Marketplace all the items that are in your garage that you just can't sell. But it might be different between months, right? So March could look completely different than July. So we're just looking at March right now, but just know that between week 1, 2, 3, and 4, your income producing activities can be different between months and between weeks. It all has to do with your schedule. And then to the best of your ability, because you've had a chance to guesstimate how much money you can make on your income producing activities based on prior experience, what's your total potential income for that week? You might find that you've put $3,000 here, but the income producing activities that you wrote for week 1 through 4 only amounts to 900. And then you go, wow, okay, I need to change a few things here. So again, this is an exercise for you guys. Feel free to print 2 copies or write in pencil so that you can erase things as you go. So we're gonna continue on here. So back to the SMART goals. I had you guys right here, write down the SMART goals that you wanna focus on, but we want you to expand upon the exact actions and when you'll take them. So let's say you're like, all right, I have these 2 SMART goals, and the one is to begin to grow my Instagram account, and the other one is to teach myself QuickBooks. So what are the exact actions and when are you going to take them in the month of March? And then I have some more space, which don't feel pressure to fill this all out. Again, you guys, we all have our own journey. We all have our own commitments, and you might not have that much here, and that's okay. And then I want you just to the best of your ability, sort of foresee any potential obstacles and solutions hindering that SMART goal. So back to what Betty was saying about posting daily on Instagram, I'd say that's going to be a SMART goal for her for the whole year. And one of her obstacles is that it takes a lot of time. So that's going to be an obstacle, but her solution is going to be, I'm going to take 10 photos of myself in different outfits every Saturday, or I'm going to work on hiring someone to come over, or I'm going to work on having a neighbor help me. Whatever it is, she can brainstorm as some ideas to create solutions so that that obstacle doesn't just stop her dead in her tracks. Now we have, guys, I mean, this is a business action plan, so there's a lot of sheets here. Now we have the outsourcing asking for help page. Some of you might not write anything here. That's okay, because you're just at the beginning stages. But to the best of your ability, if you have come up with some activities to outsource, Patty's a great example, as well as Natalie. You know, they both have family members help them and pay those family members. So just write that out here. Write the total estimated cost. This is again so that you can look at the numbers and say, okay, my outsourced work is costing me $300 a month. You know, okay, maybe I can add this in here. I didn't think about outsourcing this job. I'm going to add it in here for the month of March or the month of July, whatever. And then we hit April. So it's a repeat and rinse business action plan. But as I said before, every month could look completely different, or there could be a lot of similarities because you've already worked out your business model. So Jackie, she lists on Etsy, you know, pretty much every week she's going to take photos. Pretty much every week she's got a list on Etsy. But she might have realized during the last 3 weeks, okay, wow, you know what? I have really great things. I'm going to be at an antique vendor event in June. And she knows that, and she's created as a SMART goal. So June's going to look a little bit different because she's going to have some activities related to that goal for the month of June.
Okay.
So this is 51 pages long. It is because
Oh my gosh.
it is until December. Jackie's laughing. But you guys are really getting the money, or you're really getting your money's worth, because once this is done, again, 6 months to 10 months. You guys do not have to do 10 months. We just have it there for you if you're like, I really want to do it. You're really going to begin to go, wow, I know what I'm up to, and I know what I can create, and I know what's possible for me, and I know how much time it's going to take. And even if this changes between now and say next month, when we have our 6-week check-in in April, I guess it's almost next month, you're going to have a template to come back to and to redo this process for yourself. So I'm sure I missed something, Rebecca, before we open up the floor for questions. Is there anything I missed?
It might be 51 pages, but it's easy because it's month over month and a lot of things will be similar. So
Yeah.
don't get super intimidated by the number. It's 51 pages because it's spaced out and gives you room to write.
Right. And you might not need all that room. And this is a great quote by Failing to Prepare. You are preparing to fail. I think Benjamin Franklin said that, at least that's what they say. So any questions, guys? I'm going to stop sharing, but I can share again if you guys need to see a page. Okay, Amy's got a question.
All the information you gave us, it's a lot of information. After we're done with the class, will all the information, the links and videos still be active for us so I can go back and redo this?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, technically, we like do this again next year on our own, just replaying the whole thing.
Right,
Okay,
absolutely. I mean, I didn't think about this, but I can just send out an email with everything in organized fashion. I mean, everything's in your email, but I can do that. We are going to get testimonials from you guys because I'm jumping ahead, but we are going to sell this as a replay, but without the live coaching, which we think that the live coaching, our one-on-one coaching, is huge value, but we realize that not everyone has time for it. But you guys are welcome to do it again live, which I don't know when that's going to be with Rebecca, but we're hoping to offer it again live, probably at the end of 2021.
So we can feel like, yeah, we could just replay our own videos and just do it on our own.
Or you can just do it on your own. Exactly.
Okay, perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. Questions on the business action plan or your plan, if you even want to use this time just to talk about things that are on your mind. I guess we're really thorough. Oh, Patty?
I'm just saying I have to go, so I have my live in 15 minutes. So
yes.
Good luck.
What is Circular Vintage is your
handle.
I'm
Circular Vintage, but my partner is Crazy for Kitsch with a K, and she's the host. So her logo is the thing that pops up in the where it shows who's having live.
Patty, read your email that we're going to send out with what you're going to be presenting back to us next week, because you guys are presenting to us next week.
Oh, what am I going to do?
You're going to read your email and find out. So just read your next email.
Read my emails. Okay.
Yeah,
I will
read your
read
email, have the instructions in there, because you guys are going to be presenting your vision and your action plans back to us and into the
Okay, and we have our meeting on the 3rd?
Sure. It's on my calendar.
I think.
It's the 6th.
Yes,
Sunday
we do have
the
ours
6th.
on the 3rd at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Oh, you're one-on-one. Yeah. I'll be posting those reminders in Facebook tonight. So just so that we all know, just as a reminder, but you should have gotten a text message alert if it's tomorrow.
Okay. No, it's the 3rd. So. Okay.
Patty.
All right.
I love Patty.
Yeah, and I need to run.
Okay.
too.
Hopefully it'll go well.
Bye, Natalie.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
I need to
Bye-bye.
run. So have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye, Natalie. So yeah, you guys probably already opened your email. If you haven't already, it's definitely there, which it just has 5 things that we're encouraging you to share about your business action plan next week. We're giving you 7 minutes. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but you might share and then we ask you a few questions or people chime in. We're not putting pressure on this like it's a presentation, it's more just as a way for you to create accountability for yourself and then also for us to be inspired by each other. So take a look at that email. We have our one-on-ones this week. There's going to be more questions. There's going to be micro questions. Come to myself or Rebecca. I don't know whom everyone is having their coaching call with. Next week, when we have our graduation and when you get that follow-up email from us, we are also going to be offering discounted coaching. So if you met with me and now you want to meet with Rebecca, or you met with Rebecca and now you want to meet with me, it's only $75 for the hour, which is about half off. So that will be available to you guys because this might not be the end of the road for you, just to really nail down what it is that you want to do for 2021. So with all that said, we are over time. Are there any last minute questions so that we can all go watch Patty and buy from Patty?
Sammy, when will we be able to take advantage of that offer? Like, if we do the one-on-one with you and then want to do it with Rebecca later, would it be like within 3 months, 6 months, or what's the time frame when we have to use it?
Yeah, probably within 3 months. Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't put that down on paper yet, but yeah, because that's we want that for you. We don't want you to delay. So awesome. Any other questions, guys?
Not yet.
That's it. Great class.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. I
You're
look forward to a one-on-one with you guys
welcome.
this week.
It's going to be great. Thank you guys so much. I know it's Sunday night. Go rest, go shop Patty, and we will see you next week, Sunday night at 5:30 Eastern. And have a great week.
Thanks,
Bye,
you
guys.
Thanks.
too.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye. Bye, Bridget, Betty,
Bye.
Allison.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, you can hit stop recording, but I am going to bounce because
Yes.
Eric's here.